When Kobe and I decided to create a podcast and coined it the Father-Son Podcast, most would feel this is a gimmick for the podcast, and that couldn't be further from the truth. From the day Kobe was born, I introduced him to video games. This was a way of life for me, as I can remember my father buying me the Odyssey home system, where the cellophane field that clung to the TV determined what game you were playing. Kobe's love for video games grew, as did the bond of a father and a son. When I introduced him to online play, his world opened to new heights. He learned quickly that the incredible gaming experience wasn't just something shared between a father and a son, but there was an entire world that shared his passion for gaming. Gaming was just part of his upbringing, as school or sports was. We always made arrangements that a video game experience was just an arm's length away, even when we went on vacation. As Kobe got older, our experience took us to the road, experiencing events like the Great E3 to more modern events like Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Experience, IGN, and PAX. Kobe graduated from college and now works in the video game industry on the Xbox team. So, as you can see, it was nothing but natural progression to now share our experience and love of the industry through our podcast. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Father and Son Gaming Podcast right here on Active Reload Gaming. My name is Kobe, aka Kobe127, back in the hosting chair again, and that is Kevin, aka Octane699. Just people are asking, is this pod live or pre-recorded? This is live. So hello, welcome to everyone in the chat. We have a huge chat today. We're going to be going over with a special guest. He was previously on this podcast before, but we'll get to that in a second. But we're going to be going over gaming gift guide that you need for 2025. You know, we are 10 days away from Christmas if you do celebrate, but we're in the holiday season. And honestly, it's a stressful time. So we're hoping to help you out and get any last minute gifts that you may need. But besides that, Dad, how you doing?
Well, let me tell you, I am thankful to be back in this seat, not controlling the stuff. Because anybody that watched our podcast for 4.5 hours, big ups to Bombay. He was a ride or die. He was in for the full 4.5 hours. I appreciate Shemplu jumping on to kind of help me out, but I don't like being on that side of it, man. I'd rather sit on this side. I'm the one that everybody looks at. I'm the good looking one. You're the technical guy. So
that's how it goes. Yeah, you know, I was sitting at the Game Awards, checking in every now and then. You're like, what the hell is going on? I kept texting you. I'm like, this is wrong. But you went through it. But yeah, I had the great pleasure of going to the Game Awards on Thursday and sitting through it. And man, what a show. That was an incredible show. I've had time to, sit and reflect on it, but I don't want to take up too much time with this podcast. But incredible time overall.
Great.
Yeah, so go for it.
I was going to say, why don't we introduce who our guest is? Give a little bit of shout out to him.
Our guest is a returning guest. He was on, I think it was episode 3 or 4 way back when. It was over the summer. But this is Dan from Planet Retro Video Games. As we were kind of coming up with what to do for the rest of the year, we only had 2 podcast episodes left. We had this one and next week's. And the slate before was very different than what we had now. And, I was like, you know what? I don't know what to get certain people. I don't even know what to get you. So I'm like, you know what? Let's do a gift giving guide, because not only is this going to help me, it's probably going to help parents out there, friends, family, etc. So, but as we bring in Dan, I do want to remind everyone that this is where you can follow Planet Retro Video Games. You can find them on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. They also do whatnots. We can have Dan talk about the whatnot here in any second. But yeah, follow them. Go to the store in Quakertown, Pennsylvania. What a great guy. What a great store. I've purchased many different things from there. So without further ado, Dan, welcome back to the show. Happy to have you again.
Hey guys, happy to be back. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah. So any additional plugs? When do you do your whatnots? Because I know that's like one of the biggest things for you, and I want to make sure that is exposed here.
Yeah, we do whatnot Monday to Friday now. Steve actually is starting our Wednesday show solo, so pretty excited for that. But you can find us at Planet Retro Video Games on whatnot as well.
And
That
let me
is
just
awesome
let
to
me
hear.
just jump in there and say that I watch a lot of Whatnot, and I plug it all the time. It's one of the best Whatnots on there. They don't pressure you. They don't shove it down your throat. You're not overpaying for stuff. So get on and do it. And it's just like being in the store, because you're really realistically going to say, hey, do you have this? And if they have it, they bring it over. They give you a great deal. And within a couple of days, it's sitting on your front doors, So definitely one of the best Whatnots I've watched. I watch it every day. So that's no BS.
I can attest to that. He's always like, yeah, I was on the Whatnot. I saw this. I got you this. I got myself this. I'm like, all right. So I hear about it every day. It's really good. And Dan, you're receiving a lot of love in the chat. You have Dog Water Bud saying, my man, Dan. You have Nate Edwards saying, the boys are back. Bombay says, hello, Dan. And then Dog Water Bud says, your place is fire, and so on. So lots of love for you.
Appreciate you all.
Dogwater says you only pressure him to buy.
Oh, only him.
Only him.
That's awesome. But before we get into the rest of the show, Dan, I just want to ask you how you doing. Are you ready for the holidays? How's the store going? Is it busy as hell? And have you had any time to relax and play any games recently?
The store has been insane, particularly online, because a lot of people are kind of afraid to come out in this weather. But it's been all guns blazing. Been playing a little bit of Arc Raiders with my boy Steve. So I'd say that's probably what the main focus is, at least during this crazy holiday season. So
Arc Raiders is an incredible game. I'm still playing it. I hope I've never accidentally found you and started yelling. Because I tend to be doing that in the game at people. I'm usually screaming I'm friendly or calling them rats if they are camping, and I get blasted out of nowhere and I lose a lot of good loot. So hopefully I have not encountered you in the game. If you've seen me, you haven't seen me. I'm a different man there. So
completely understand. It's always a madhouse, and Dogwater actually plays with us as well. So we do a 3 squad. We usually kind of shoot on sight. Got to do to win.
Yeah, you're there for the loot, and I appreciate the shooting on sight. I don't know if you saw, but the studio at Embark actually came out and said that they're analyzing our player behavior and they're matching up your aggression levels with other people who have similar aggression levels. And someone actually went and tested it with 2 different accounts, one who was way more aggressive and one who was way more passive. And the game does adjust to that. So if you're like bloodlusting, you are going to be with other bloodlusting people. Or if you are like, yo, I'm friendly and don't shoot, it's going to pair more with that as well. So I think that's a really cool addition to the game.
Yeah, that is interesting, and I didn't know about that either. So that's definitely appreciate the education piece on that one.
That's taking it to the next level of what were you working on for a while there? It's not anything new. It was matchmaking.
No, stop. Either ways.
I say the wrong thing.
You do say the wrong things. Please. I work for Xbox. This man's opinions or my opinions do not reflect the company I am employed for. So
I'm sorry.
There we go. Either ways. Let's get on with the show. So it is the holiday season. And, like I said before, we have 10 days until Christmas if you do celebrate, and people are kind of in a frenzy. What do we get for someone who loves video games? What do we get for people, and I just kind of want to start getting into that in chat. If you're there, if you know any gifts that you want to shout out, please let us know. But we each brought 5 picks that we thought would be a good gift to get someone who is a gamer in your family or friend.
Before you get started on it, though, and I don't want to sound sappy, but honestly, if you have a brother or sister, if you have children, the best gift that you could give them is set some time aside to play games with them. That is the best. And I know it's going to sound sappy, but you saw our video. I don't know that the relationship that I would have with my son right now would be as strong as it is if I haven't introduced games to him or took times out to play the games. But at the end of the day, if you are a father and don't play games, or go back to the retro that you did play. Go back and get that NES and introduce it to your son or daughter. Go back and get that Mario and play that. But let me tell you that the bond of a child or the bond of a sibling I don't know of a greater bond than playing video games. That's the honest, and without sounding sappy, like that is the honest God truth. When I go back to my memory of my brother and I, Now we're talking 70s and 80s. It's over video games. It's the first thing that comes to my mind. When I go back to Kobe's childhood, the first thing that comes up to me, excuse me, is the video game bond. So again, don't overlook the gift of your time with your children or a sibling or even a friend. So I know it doesn't want to sound sappy, but this whole podcast is built off of a father giving his time up with his son, which is the greatest gift that you could give out there right now. So now I'll get off my sappy soapbox.
Dan, do you have any sappy soapboxes you want to add on?
Oh, you put me on the spot. Sappy soapboxes? No, I mean, not really. Not that I can think of off the top of my head, but I, absolutely agree with Kevin. It's, you have to get that interaction, particularly with family members, because it adds a different connection that we don't typically get just through communicating with people normally. So,
yeah. And there is a sappy soapbox in the chat. Dan, Nate Edwards says, Dan, you're my best friend except when Chippendale. So there you go.
I was leaving that one alone. But yeah, and that's the other thing about it. Don't discount grandma. You thinking she's not going to be able to play a game, but I don't care. Get a Wii. They always played, in all of the old folks' homes. All I'm saying is there's a game, there's a console for every walk of life out there. That's the thing. Maybe it's a handheld that they do that grandma can't play with a controller or something, or maybe it's a Wii. All I'm saying is give the gift of time. Time is probably the best thing that you can give, But anyway, we can move on.
Yes, I do want to move on. So in the spirit of gift giving this holiday, Dan, I want to start with you. You brought 5 picks. I want to hear your number one pick, or not even number one, but your first one to start with. In terms of gift giving, and as someone's a gamer in their family or likes nerdy shit, what do you recommend someone to get them?
So we have these in our store. And it's not a plug on my store, but we have these video game coasters, right? They're all the different covers of video games throughout different consoles, a lot of Pinnacle games like Halo and Mega Man and Final Fantasy and things like that. It's a very cheap gift, but it has a lot of meaning because you can have your favorite game. You look at it every day. You can dress up your game room. Everybody drinks something, and you can put your drinks on it. You can use it to, I saw a guy, somebody has 30 or 40 of them. And wow. He has them all decorated as an entire room. So it's pretty cool. And it's a very cost-effective gift. So
I agree with that because everybody has a man cave, or like I like to say, a man corner. It doesn't matter. And nothing makes it pop more than seeing some of the decorations. To me, that coaster, I couldn't agree more. It's no different than you putting an action figure up on the shelf or putting that coaster down to represent what you like. Now, I agree with that 100%. And you're not breaking the bank with it. Or a stocking stuffer if you're looking for that, something along that line. But I agree with that. Everybody likes to make their man corner pop.
Now, obviously, you do sell them in the store, but if someone can't reach Quakertown, Pennsylvania, or even reach the one, is there any place online that you know of that people can go to and get the coaster themselves?
So there's 2 parts to that question, right? So you have the one through us. You can always contact us through the socials, and you can pay us via PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, credit card over the phone. We'll ship it right to your door. If you want to get it, there are, like, you can get on Alibaba, but the quality isn't quite there. I'm kind of a quality freak, so I'd rather, have something a little nicer and pay a little bit more for it, as opposed to have something that feels flimsy and is going to break in 5 minutes for, $1 or $2. So
there you go. Is there any coaster of yours that's your favorite? What game are you trying to represent?
Final Fantasy VII all day long, baby.
There we go. That's a nice one. Yeah. In your store, I've seen a lot of coasters, and the Silent Hill one has spoken to me quite a bit, or even like any of the Resident Evil. So there's some fire coasters in the store itself. All right, Dad, your first pick for
my first pick that I would do, which I just recently got one, and they've been around for a while, but I like a good controller holder. I got one right here. I just picked this one up. It was Target did an agreement, I guess, with Bethesda where they brought out a couple. And I absolutely love this because I usually have my controller just laying on my desktop here. And I do have a controller stand over here that, I display all my controllers. But the one I'm using is always just laying on the desk. And I thought, what a better way to again display something in my man corner, my man cave that pops for something that I like. I think this was $29, to be honest with you. So again, it's not something that breaks the bank, but they got everything. I've seen Pikachus, I've seen Halo, I've seen, obviously the Fallout. I've seen a ton of them that you can get, and you can get them anywhere. I mean, I've seen them on Target, I've seen them on eBay, I've seen them on Walmart, Best Buy. But I think a controller holder is just a nice way to, one, show off what you like, and two, get it up off the get your controller up off the desk. Because I can't tell you how many controllers I've accidentally knocked off my desk and ended up getting stick drift.
Oh yeah.
So
I have gone through 4 Xbox Elite controllers at this point because of my own idiocracy.
Correct. But I do want to say too, before we move on with the gifts, I think another thing that you need to do as a gift giver, whether it's your kid, whether it's a friend, whether it's, a sibling, is just ask some questions and find out what they're into.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're getting something like, if you know that I was into Fallout, then put online and look for a Fallout, controller holder, because these hold everything, whether it be a PlayStation controller, Xbox controller, a Wii controller.
That was going to be
a Nintendo controller.
That was going to be one of my questions. It might have sounded like a rudimentary question to a lot of people, but does it fit a controller of all sizes?
It does. Okay. It does. I don't know that it's going to fit the Duke. I don't think anything fits the Duke, but as you can see,
or the Jag.
The Duke's back there, or the Jag too. Yeah, I don't know that any modern console it will fit.
Yeah,
it will.
This is definitely is for, I would say.
Yes.
So my first pick is going to be something very different between you two's, and I'm going to have to pull up the screen share so people know what I'm talking about. But if you have any kind of tinkerers in your family, people who like to be hands-on and build, my first recommendation is going to be the Lego Game Boy. I think this came out this year, and I think it is a really fun piece. Oh, where did it go?
See, now you look like me when I was trying to do this.
There we go. Hang on one second.
Did I screw up all the settings, which is a possibility?
Yeah, it was. Everything was screwed up. But so the Lego Game Boy, I think Lego has stood the test of time. Everyone can get behind a Lego. I still have a Lego set that still needs to be built. It's sitting on my shelf. It's the Lego Ornithopter from Dune. But the Lego Game Boy came out, the Lego NES came out with the television screen, I believe, where you can actually crank it and you play Super Mario Bros. on the built TV. But I think, for $60, and if anyone wants to be a tinkerer and just kind of mess around, but also have love for retro gaming and just kind of getting the feeling of a Game Boy, I think this is a great first pick for me because it gets you hands on. It could also be a bonding event with whoever you're with, where you can just go sit down, spend a couple hours together, just chat, throw on some music, maybe throw on a movie, hell, even throw on a really bad video game movie if you want to, and just build this. Dan, are you into Legos at all? I don't know if I ever asked you that.
I more admire Lego building than actually do Lego building because I am talentless when it comes to building Legos. So,
and I don't know. And again, I'm not trying to do a plug here for Dan, but you did have at least one or two of these at the store.
I've had the Game Boy set. I've had the Nintendo NES set, if you remember that, where you built the Duck Hunt or the Mario cartridge and the whole thing. It showed it at opening. So yeah.
And they also came out with there was a 360, but I don't think that was Lego.
No, that was Mega Bloks.
Mega Bloks came out with the Xbox 360, which is essentially Legos.
Yeah.
But do you still have one available at the store?
I think we have one left. I say I think because I never know what happens during the day. So I believe we have one left.
So get on that Whatnot tomorrow. I think it starts at 11 a.m. usually every day, and see if he has it. You can get that from the store.
Awesome. Now, Dan, I'm gonna throw it back to you with your next pick.
Next pick, yes. So this would be a Nintendo NES or a Super NES Mini. So the reason I picked that in particular is because it kind of fits everybody a little bit. What I mean by that is it'll hook up to modern TVs, either one will, with a HDMI cord, and you have preloaded games. So if you don't want to hassle with, blowing in the cartridge like we remember when we were kids, you can just sit there and you load the ROM from the system. It's basically a mini Nintendo or a mini Super Nintendo. Plays with the OEM controllers or new versions of the OEM controllers, and there's save states. So games, especially for Nintendo, a lot of them didn't have save states. So this adapted that. And, you can play all your favorites. And if you're into making it magical, you can put more games on it as well. So, and I think that will fit for just about everybody.
Now, say someone was to receive this gift and this is the first time they're ever entering this NES library. What is the first game you're going to recommend them to go to try out on this system?
Oh, man. Probably Ninja Gaiden.
All right. Hell yeah.
Because Ninja, it's so good, man. It's just, it holds up really well to this day. It's a lot of fun. It's a little difficult. So if you want a little challenge, you want to enjoy doing it, absolutely try Ninja Gaiden to start off.
Hell yeah. I think you and I, Dad, we've owned an NES Classic, and I also had the PlayStation Classic as well. I do recommend, I agree with this pick. A great system. Nate Edwards in the chat says Mega Man, and I'm actually going to plug Mega Man as well. I'm going to say, yeah, do it, because they just announced a new Mega Man game at the Game Awards. So perfect timing as we roll, unfortunately it comes out in 2027, but as we start rolling towards that, I think it's no better time to get into the Mega Man franchise than now and start with the classic.
Sure. And my feeling on all this, to me, and this is again a plug for 2026. We've talked about it in our past podcasts, but as we're growing this channel, one of the offshoots that we're going to do is we're going to do a video game of the month, where we're going to pick a video game that has some roots in what has influenced video games of today. To give the example, like Mario Brothers, it was the first platformer. So if you like Astro Bot now, we're going to go back and we're going to do a video game of the month where you're going to play that all month long, and then we're going to talk about it. Or like Metal Gear Solid, where that over the shoulder third person, they influenced, oh my goodness, Gears of War on. We're going to do that. If you don't have the money to go out and buy retro to do this is a great way to go buy this mini and play it, or go back to what I originally said in the beginning of this. If you want to play with your daughter, your son or something, and you just don't have the money to go out and buy all these games, go buy the mini and bring that in and show them, Mario, Super Mario Brothers and things of that nature. It's all about the community and your relationship video games. It's not about how much money you have, because let me tell you this, you could go out and retro video game on a very small budget. Not every game is going to be $100,000, $200,000. And I think that's the biggest misconception that a lot of people have when they hear retro video game. Oh, that's an expensive hobby to get into. If you're going to try to collect grails, of course it is. But if you want to just play like Mario Brothers, you can get into it, 10% of what you're going to pay for a new console.
I want to say anything loose is always going to be a very affordable option if you want to go get the proprietary console. But I do want to get a little controversial here, Dan. If you're going to tell someone to get the mini NES or SNES, what are you picking? What systems, if they can only choose one or the other, where are you directing?
So my heart says the Nintendo NES, but my salesman recommendation from a store standpoint would be the SNES, because the SNES, a little bit more modern, especially now as people are getting older. It feels like Super Nintendo is definitely going to hit a little bit harder as opposed to NES. I think NES is kind of peaked and now it's kind of going down a little bit in popularity, but just a lot of good games for Super Nintendo. You have your Donkey Kongs, you have your Mega Mans, and other things as well. So if I was to recommend, it would be the SNES Mini for sure.
Hell yeah. Then in the chat,
I was going to echo that in a sense that NES to me is my favorite system, but I think the Super NES has better titles. If you want to look at it that way, it has more titles in it. But I agree with that statement.
And in the chat, Typer MX says Mega Man's so good, and Dogwater Bud says it turns innocent to expensive. I think it's just talking about the hobby of collecting. All All right.
the hobby.
Moving on, Dad, what is your next pick?
My next pick is a custom controller. Now, I'm going to preface this. It could be going out to the Xbox lab and creating your own, or finding out what they like and get, a PlayStation God of War, or, they came out with, the Hogwarts and things. Now, again, some of them can get really expensive. So there you see a SpongeBob, you can go get a Fallout and create one that's not, it's in the $70 range. But nothing from a gamer really spouts what they like more than a controller. Like if you got, and you could even do this. I don't care if you're a sports person. I had for a good friend of mine for Christmas one year, I got him a regular Xbox 360 controller with, I don't know why I put the Eagles on for him, but I put the Eagles logo on it for him. Like, so he's a sports player. He likes that. He's an Eagles fan. And it was a great gift. I'd rather put a Raiders on there. I don't want to hear about last night. It's beaten up on the worst team in the league. Wow. Let me tell you, that's great. But anyway, that's going back to that custom controller. Like, people like to sport what there is now. This is one that I created. It was a custom that I just wanted a green. I'm into my 90s translucent. I'm stuck in the 90s, I think, with my translucent. But I have here, and I think last year for Christmas, Kobe bought me the one Gears of War controller that I missed. Again, to me, a controller says a lot about an individual, and I don't care if it's if you're into the Switch 2, they have custom controllers. They have, PlayStation has a plethora. We're in the era now that I think they're making less custom consoles and putting more of it into their controllers for it. So go out and find a nice controller, and it doesn't have to be a $200 custom controller.
We have people in the chat saying, go birds. Go birds.
Go birds.
Yeah. I think custom controllers are neat. I'm glad that Xbox Design Lab is a thing you can go, but the Elite controllers, if you want the best of the best, they do get very expensive very quickly, but you can get more affordable options with the Elite. So I would say if you're going to do it, I would go with the Elite. I still think the Elite is probably the best controller on the market. Now, granted, I haven't been able to use it because I can't find it, but the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller I've heard is outstanding. I've heard that's like just the feeling of it, the haptics, just the button layout, the width. Like, I heard it's great, but for me, the Elite controller has always been my favorite. But yeah, I think doing a custom design, kind of matching to their color patterns or even their favorite game, really shows that you're paying attention and listening and interested in what the person likes. So Dan, oh no, it's me. Oh yeah, it's me. For my next pick, I'm going to plug myself here. I'm going to say get a Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription for the person, either 3 months, a month, or a year. I still stand by that Game Pass Ultimate is one of the better deals in gaming. I still think to this day you're going to get a lot of games for the value that you are buying. You get a whole catalog of indies to the triple A's. You can't really go wrong with Game Pass, especially if someone isn't as familiar with a huge catalog of games and wants to explore. If you don't want to, if you want to make sure that someone's going to be able to use the gift, it's always hard buying a copy of a game for someone, because if you're truly not sure about what their taste is in video games, buying a game for upwards of $70 can be a hard sell, and they might not like it. So I think Game Pass Ultimate is a good option for those who might be indecisive with gaming or who isn't as knowledgeable. Let them go figure out more about themselves, what they like, and so on. So I think it's a good ad, and it also works on PC, or if you don't have a console or a PC, it works on cloud streaming services that are built into TVs nowadays. You can play it on your phone. It's pretty much anywhere that a web browser is accessible. So I think Game Pass Ultimate is my next pick.
And I want to just echo to that as well. Kobe and I are physical game collectors, and what we both use it for, and I know we both done it numerous times, is we'll go out and try a game on Game Pass that we normally wouldn't have purchased, and if we like it, we're immediately getting it and bringing it into the physical collection. So I think it lets me try games that I normally wouldn't have tried
Yeah.
that I end up liking and then buying the physical. But we always do that. We're forever buying the physical off of a game that we like that we tried on Game Pass. But I think Game Pass, even for me, that has a big backlog collection, whether it be retro, whether it be new, it still gets me out of my comfort zone and says, well, I'm going to try something that I typically haven't tried before. Because I don't have to pay for it. It's paid for in my subscription. So I think that's the value more than anything for me, is I get to try something that I normally would have never tried, and maybe open up a brand new genre.
Yeah.
And then, like you, if it's the third iteration of the game, I might go back and seek the first three iterations of the game to see what they are. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna say real quick. I was gonna add that that's a great choice. It's kind of like a Visa gift card for games. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you can go to whatever store you want. In this case, pick whatever game you want. As Kevin, you said, maybe get yourself a little out of your comfort zone. Try something you normally wouldn't try, and if you love it, I'm the same way. I'll just buy it. Right? I love my Game Pass. Probably one of my best investments for long-term gaming, to try things that I like and things I want to try. So,
and Bombay in the chat says Game Pass is great for gaming ADHD. Lots of things to just quick pick up and play via cloud streaming. Yeah, that's the greatest thing, is you can just cloud stream it. You don't even need to install to the device. So it's great. Dan, what's your next pick?
So, in the spirit of retro gaming and me actually owning a store, I figure I should give a retro game recommendation, or a console. So, a Nintendo handheld, and I say that generically because it's going to depend on the person, right? Yeah. So, like for example, a cheap but amazing option would be something like a DS Lite, because you can play your DS games and your Game Boy Advance games. Or if you want to go a little crazier and you want to do something like a 3DS that plays your 3DS games and your DS games. Or if you're a Sony guy, you got your PSP, your Vita. I mean, there's just so many options, and they're going to kind of tailor independently to different people. But, but any kind of handheld, specifically Nintendo for most people. But obviously the Sony or, the other options available on the market are good ones as well.
So the DS has a very extensive library, and it might be overwhelming for someone to actually start, especially if they're buying a handheld for someone that has never invested in any of the library before. I think it's easier to maybe buy a special edition DS and give it to someone who's already in the Nintendo environment. But if someone is coming brand new to the handheld space for Nintendo, and say they don't want to switch, we're not going to do the switch, because I think that's easier to buy. If you're going DS, what are 3 games you're going to recommend for people to start with?
So they never fail, right? So I'm going to go any of your Pokemon games, and I know that's really generic, but specifically Pokemon Platinum, amazing game. I'm playing now, how many years later after it was made, I still love it to this day. Alternative options, you have your Final Fantasy 2, your Final Fantasy 3. I'm an RPG guy, and those were great games, on the Super Nintendo as well as on your DS. And last but not least, also generic but really good, new Super Mario Brothers. Great on every system, very playable. Anybody can play it. It's not super complicated, not super difficult, but really enjoyable. So definitely 3 or 4 of my choices for DS.
And I want to jump in. I'm going to throw in Mario Kart. Any Mario Kart in the DS, I think it is a great thing. And if you end up going for the upgraded 3DS, I'm going to throw one. I know it's kind of a controversial pick if it's your first time experiencing the game, but I think it's a fine port of the game. I'm going to say Ocarina of Time 3D. I do think that it's a very fine version of the game. I know some people are purists and they're like, oh, you need to experience it on the 64. But realistically, 64's got a bad controller. I would rather play it on the 3DS, and I think it's much more comfortable and a much more streamlined experience. So I'm going to throw those 2 out there as well.
Well, let me say that, again, Kobe growing up had the majority of the Nintendo handhelds that I never played. And until I bought off of you, Dan, the Game Boy Advance, the GBA, I love playing it. I'll find myself playing that more than I play my brand new ROG, Ally X or the Switch 2. I just think that it's simple. Pop it in, sit and walk. It's compact enough I can put it in my pocket. I absolutely love playing that, to be honest with you. And I never thought that I'd be playing a Nintendo, retro handheld in any way, shape, or form. And it just wasn't my gig. Like I said, Kobe had it. Never once said, I want to go play that. But since I bought that, I love playing that GBA.
I think
So
we can all agree here. Nintendo is so versatile. No matter what the age bracket is, I think anyone can hop in and enjoy a Nintendo game and console. It's just got that kind of library.
Absolutely,
I agree.
In the chat, Bombay says Picross DS, best game of the entire platform, or Picross. And then where it says Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Silver, Gold. So pretty much any Pokemon game, just Pokemon in general. That's awesome. Dad, what's your next pick?
All right. It's kind of, we little bit talked about it with Game Pass, but I think in people think that gift cards are kind of a soulless gift. And I disagree. I think gift cards could be great because let me tell you, if there's somebody that's buying games all year long and here comes Christmas and you're trying to buy something and you get them something that was just to them, give them a gift card. Gives them the option to come in February to buy what's a game that they really want. And I think you find out whether it be a retro store, whether it be your favorite news store, it does not matter. But here's, I think, the key with a gift card, especially if it's your son, your brother, your daughter, whatever, is give them the gift card and say that there's a stipulation to this. I have to go with you to pick things out. Because now whether it's a week from Christmas, whether it's 2 months from Christmas, now that gift, you feel that you're part of the gift. You may know nothing like me about Pokemon, but maybe they want that, as Nate's saying, that Pokemon game. Me giving them a gift card and then just saying, well, Christmas is over. That's one thing, but going to the store and experiencing the excitement of that person picking that Pokemon game for their Game Boy, like, to me, that's where the gift comes in. So people think that gift cards are kind of, heartless and I don't put any thought in it. Here's a gift card, where I think totally the opposite with that. I really think gift cards let me buy it when I want to buy it and what I want to buy, not just in the month of December because a game didn't come out that I wanted, or I wanted to save a little bit more money to buy that retro game that I wanted, but making the stipulation that you go with them. And then again, having that conversation, who is their favorite store? Oh, I go to Planet Retro all the time. Well, okay, now I know that. Now I go get some type of gift certificate from your store, but then I make the stipulation that I'm there to experience their excitement. So I think gift cards are overlooked, and I think gift cards, get a bad rap that they're a thoughtless gift when it could be a really good gift for somebody.
But in the chat says, if anyone buys me V-Bucks, we throw in hands. That's awesome. So yeah. Dan, do you have anything to say about that? Do you agree with gift cards? I kind of do. I like getting a gift card because I can go buy what I want to buy. So
yeah. So I see both sides of it, right? Like some people absolutely think it's like a thoughtless gift, but I agree with you in the sense of, hey, I can go out and get what I want. You might not know exactly what I want. Even if you know me really well, you don't know necessarily what's in my collection or what I want to play, right? So if you give me a gift card, you're just basically saying, here you go. I am recognizing that, I want to get you something cool, but I want you to pick out, what you want. So I agree that gift cards are absolutely a good idea, particularly if you don't know exactly what they want.
Sure. And it's a timing. We all know that gaming is nothing but a timing issue. If it's a new game that didn't come out yet, but you're going to get me a game from Walmart that I could care less about, or you're going to give me this and go, or that I've been trying to save up for that Kuon, and nobody's going to give you the $1,200 to do it. Well, giving me that gift card, I can save up then. I can save up and get that Kuon that's the way I'm going to get it. So again, gift cards to me are never a bad thing, as long as you talk to the individual and understand what they like, what they, don't go get them the store that shall not be named that we all know, it doesn't, it's the opposite of go. at the end. So, because I can't stand them. Like, you don't want to get them if they're a retro gamer. Like that's where I'm saying you need to speak with the individual and understand what they like. So if they're a retro gamer, they're not going to go to the store that shall not be named. Unless they pay me, I'm not going to name them. And that's why I'm saying, like, that's where you could go wrong with a gift card. Know the person, talk to the person. There's a novel idea. Talk to somebody, get to know what their interests are. Even if you're not interested in a video game, get to know what they're interested in, your kid, your brother, your daughter, whatever it is. And don't discount daughters. I know a lot of female game that play hardcore games. So don't ever discount the female end of it, because I know a lot of them that are super into the video games just as much as guys anymore. And it doesn't have to be a Powerpuff game. Trust me.
Well, is that it?
Yes,
okay.
Done. Off my soapbox. Can you tell I had coffee tonight? I'm amped up. No, I'm just amped up because I don't have to sit on the side that you're sitting on, and Shemplu's in the chat just helping me out, not struggling to help me out. So,
all right. So the next pick for me is an oddball one, and I think this is going to be for someone who is interested in learning. And I'm going to say, I think first off, you should probably find a book about the history of video games. There's a great book out there called Press Start, The History of Video Games. I think it goes over where gaming has come from, how it was invented, where we are today. I think it's a great read. And the next thing I want to go off of an educational experience, and I'm a tech person, so I want to do it, is get them a course or a book or whatever on game development. I think game development today is at its strongest. The tool set is no longer locked off. Anyone can go and build a game. All you need to do is learn. And there's so many resources out there, whether it be online YouTube tutorials, textbooks. You can go to a website called Udemy. They have tons of courses that people sell for relatively cheap. Especially, I'm going to say Unity is a great starter engine for people. It's an easier language to learn. You're not using C++, you're using C#. So it is easier concepts to understand, the easier UI to mess with. And there is a whole marketplace full of assets out there that you can download for free, get in and just start tinkering and building something really cool. So I think if anyone actually has any sort of interest in learning programming or stuff, and they want to go down that pathway in their career, I think the best way to learn is probably video games, because a video game is an interactive media. It is instant gratification. You get to build something, you get to see your art right there, and you get to move around, play with it. And you're also understanding just fundamental concepts about programming as well, and also how game design is, and you get to see what you want to do. But there's tons of resources out there, textbooks, online courses, you name it. But yeah, I think understanding the history and understanding the mechanics will be great for someone who wants to go down that path.
I'm going to echo that and kind of add to it. Like, even if it's a book, novels, I know Halo, if you're a Halo fan, they went into the deep. I'm a Gears fan. I have every one of their novels, and it depends what type of medium you're looking at. They have comics books out there now that are video game related. You could get into all that. I'm, again, Gears fan. Control Freak that Cliff Bleszinski did about his life in the gaming industry. Outstanding to get into there. But I think I said it during our podcast on Thursday. You built a couple games growing up. I think in 7th grade, you might have built your first little platformer in Unity. Was that and then you built like 2 or 3 little games that we played.
Yeah, in college. Also in the chat, Shemplu says, "No, that's a great idea. Game development book. Might get one myself to understand game rendering." There's a whole slew of topics out there. And Dan, feel free to chime in. I don't know if you've touched game development, if you had any interest, or if you know of any resources, feel free to just shoot them out. But yeah, I will quick say, yeah, I did build a few games in college to varying degrees. The best one I did took about like 180 hours of development time for a game that's like 10 minutes long. Like, I think game development really opened my eyes to just how, like, people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe games take X amount of years." It's like, well, like for something that's a simple 2D platformer where I had a level select screen, I made my own boss fight. I made 7 different levels. Like, not like the coding part is honestly the easiest part. It's designing the content, testing the content, making sure all your systems flow. it's hard, but it's also a very gratifying experience. Dan, I want to make sure you're included here. Do you know of anything? Have you tinkered with it at all? Or do you know any game developers or people interested in your life that they might know something?
So I have tinkered in it, and I realize I'm a terrible programmer. So that's why I own a video game store.
Well, I do. The funny thing is, I do want to comment on that because there is a misconception out there that I truly believe, which is you need to be good at programming to make a game, which is undeniable, which is false, because Undertale, one of what people consider to be one of the best games of all time, one of the best written games of all time. If you go in it, there's a website you can look at it, is one of the worst programmed games of all time. Like every piece of dialogue is in one file and it's just one big switch statement that just looks at where you're at and runs down. So you do not need to be good at programming in order to make a video game. You just need to have that art. You need to have that creativity in you, and you need to have the drive to do it. So don't let your own technical skills fault you. Like go and just do it, learn something cool, do cool shit.
All right.
And I did say this. I did say this in the last podcast as well, that for those of you that don't know, you could go out right now and download Unreal Engine 5 for free.
Yes.
It is the same assets as any game that's used out there. The way they do it is once you make something and publish it, that's when they charge.
Well,
you.
even up to a certain degree, like you can publish games for free, but it's up to a certain monetary value that you make from that game. But yeah, you can download Unity, download Unreal Engine 5, even Crytek you can go and download. There's also
Frostbite?
No, you can't download Frostbite, but there's I'll get to it. It's one mainly for 2D engines. Or if you don't want to do that, there's also RPG Maker that you can download on Steam. You can buy it, and it gives you a whole slew of inventory to make JRPGs and do everything right there. But I want to move on to the next pick. Dan, what do you got?
My next pick
I said is, Dan, not you.
Oh, okay. I said Dad, Dan, it sounds the same. When you get old, the hearing goes too.
Dan, what you got?
So next on my list is a little non-traditional. I'll just name a headset. It could be anyone in this realm, but like the MetaQuest 3 or 3S. I'm not sure what the latest one is, but they're so much fun. If you don't have vertigo, if you have vertigo, absolutely do not get that. Or if you get easily dizzy. But if you want a really wholesome experience where you truly feel like you're in the game, or like there's just, there's different social kind of quote unquote games where you can go in and just hang out with people and do mini games. You can go on the top of Mount Everest. You can box in a game such as Creed, where you're sitting there and you're actually sweating and getting a workout. If you're not, and the gamers get kind of a bad rap for being lazy. If you're not quote unquote lazy, absolutely try VR headsets because they are so much fun. And the experience is unlike any other that you would play traditionally on a home console or a portable console.
Yeah, VR headsets are really cool. I do, if you do get it and you do have a PC that can run, I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, but you can hook the MetaQuest into the PC and play games. Half-Life Alyx, I think, is probably one of the best VR games out there on the market. And you never know, another Half-Life might be popping up at any day at this point. So that's what's going around on the internet. But yeah, I agree. I do like the VR. I liked my time with VR. I unfortunately just haven't gone back to it, but I do know. And then you may be able to correct me. Like the MetaQuest is getting a pretty sick library of exclusives as well.
It sure is. So I got a MetaQuest 3 last year for Christmas. My beautiful girlfriend decided to get me one. But yeah, big library, very interactive. Like you can actually use your hands to close the menus and the pop-ups. You can literally move them with your hands, which is wild. You can climb with your arms. But yeah, it's just a very immersive experience. And in my opinion, my favorite VR game would be actually Elder Scrolls Skyrim because, yeah, I mean, I've beat it on, I think, 4 platforms now, but playing it in VR will make you sweat. Try to swing a sword in VR against, an enemy 20 times and you'll be hurting a little bit.
And you can mod it too with the PC version. So like I've seen a VR mod where the couriers are actually spiders and you hear the spider crawling and the spider just starts talking to you. It's like, I have a message for you. And it just runs off. So it's incredible to see. But yeah, VR is a good call out. One of our always returning guests, DJ Soto Live, always is playing VR. So definitely check that out.
In fact, DJ Soto just got interviewed for a PBS special on VR that they did it for the nation. So it's going to be pretty cool. But I'm looking forward to the Steam Frame. The Steam Frame to me gives you the VR, but it lets you then sit on the couch while my wife watches television, and I can be looking and playing a game off my PC that's, an 80-inch TV, 100-inch TV within the iFrame. That's what I like about it. And it's got the pass through like what's the Apple
Apple Vision Pro.
Vision, like the Apple Vision Pro, that you can kind of, not an augmented reality, but it's a pass through that you would be able to see. And the really cool part about that I think technology wise is it's not as strong as everything needs to be, but where your eyes are pointing, it's rendering that to its fullest. So this over here is doing very little, and then when your eyes move, it renders really big here, and it doesn't in nanoseconds. So I'm looking forward to the Steam iFrame, or the Steam Frame, I mean.
That's interesting. I've never even heard of the Steam Frame, so I'm going to have to look it up after this podcast because that's really interesting. So
yeah.
When Steam just announced their new Steam machine, they also announced their new controller, and they also announced their new VR that is called the Steam Frame, and it's really cool. When you look at it, you're going to say this is the Apple Vision, because they stole the whole, the mold of it, the look of it, from the Apple Vision. But I think that one's going to be cool because I'm a VR guy. I have my Meta sitting right over there as well, and I just kind of got out of it because I'm getting old, man. I want to sit and relax. I don't want to get up and move around. But the iFrame, like I said, allows you to sit and make because there's times when you're married or have a girlfriend or boyfriend, whatever it is, there's times you do have to spend with them. And nothing's better than to do that, to sit down with them, and I have the big goggles on and I can still play my game. So that's the plus side to it.
There you go. What's your next gift idea?
Now, this one's going to sound like wow, that's quite expensive, Kevin, but I think that you get an individual a new monitor. And let me explain that new monitor before everybody jumps on it. One, understanding what they have. If they're a console player and, their console's not putting out 4K, then you don't have to go spend on a 4K monitor. But we all know that the resolution is the soul to the game. If you're playing on a crappy old monitor, and I say that now because when you're retro gaming, I'd rather go play it on a CRT because the colors are better than any of the monitors right now. So again, when I say that, a monitor could be go get a PVM monitor for somebody that's the best color choice that you can if they're a retro gamer. So a monitor doesn't have to be, what I'm saying here is a traditional monitor. It could be, a great CRT to go do it. But I think the visual that you're getting for the game type that you're playing, that's the window to the soul. Again, and I'm playing it backwards. If somebody's playing on a computer monitor, and they're playing retro games, let me tell you, getting a great CRT will make that look 10 times better than that current monitor. So that's what I'm saying, monitor as a holistic view, and saying find out what they're playing, because if they are playing a ton of retro games, you can do them justice by going and getting a good CRT. And you can get CRTs just about it. Go on Facebook Marketplace, go on YouTube, go to a flea market. Like, you can find them anywhere. And I know a lot of stores are carrying them. I know you can go to thrift stores and find them sometimes, but CRTs are not this unicorn that you can't find anywhere. And if they are a retro game player, you could do them.
Hey, Dad, what is a CRT? Because someone, Shampoo in chat, is asking CRT ? Or LCD?
A CRT is if you can, I don't know how old some people are in here, but it's when you take a look at the old tube TVs, that has something on the back of the TV, that's usually a CRTV. It's not a flat TV anymore. Like, you're looking at ideas of old CRTs. I just went out to find a nice CRT because as I'm getting all these different consoles, they all have different hookups. Yeah, there you go, Shampoo. He's telling you what CRT stands for. But the difference with the retro games is there's a lot of the games that have unique hookups that aren't even on a monitor anymore. And I went out and found a great TV that has every type of hookup that I would need for any retro gaming, because I've been buying a lot more retro game consoles. And yes, I bought an HDMI converter that does it, but man, I'm telling you, that CRTV, I'm experiencing it the way that the manufacturers or the developers meant it to be experienced.
And I want to come in. Dan, you have a lot of CRTVs in your store. Where did you get your CRTs?
Yeah, so I got them in all different places. Cathode ray tube is, as Shemplu said, yeah, that's what CRT stands for. You can get them kind of anywhere. I got mine from collectors over the years because if you know, or maybe you don't know, they used to have character TVs. So like they have the Mickey Mouse TV, they have the Lightning McQueen, they have the Shrek, they have the Disney Princess, they have the Batman. They have several of these TVs, and they become very desirable because if you think about it, the old games, particularly ones that use the audio video ports, the red, yellow, and white, right? Those ones were programmatically scaled to look great on a CRT TV. That's why when you put them on a flat screen, it kind of stretches and pixelates. It makes it look like shit. Pardon my language. But that's why if you're going to get into retro gaming and you want it, whether you've done it before or not, to get the best experience, you can go on Marketplace. They're $20-$30 for an average Toshiba or Samsung or anything from back in the day to get a 19-inch or a 27-inch. I think the biggest they went was like 39-inch was Mitsubishi or something like that, 43-inch, something like that. But yes, highly recommend a CRT TV. I'm glad we're talking about this because this is extremely important.
It is. And I did have one of the biggest CRTs, which was the Sony Vega back in it. And it weighed about 10,000 pounds to pick it the hell up. And, but yes, I've just recently have gone out and got, a couple different CRTs to fit what the need that I wanted. One that was smaller, I can just throw on my desk and play it. And another one that was bigger that I wanted to sit down. But I think that's where I say holistically. And I'm going to go on the flip side when I say monitors. If your child is a PC only player, find out what output his graphics card is doing and get a monitor to match. That's the key, because again, I still believe that the way that you're viewing it is the window to the soul of the game. It really is. And you want to see it the way that it was originally meant to see. Even if it's a PC game and it's a 4K game and your kid doesn't have a 4K monitor, he has a 720 monitor. Like, you're doing justice by even going up to a 1080p or a 4K or whatever you can afford, or if they're a retro, getting that. I'm telling you, it makes a massive difference to get that CRT.
Yeah. Well, I fully agree. There's tons of monitors out there, different brands, all varying prices. So just find what meets your budget, kind of figure out. Know the difference between OLED and LED panels. And there's a whole bunch of lingo out there, but just see what matches what they're playing. Fully agree. And yeah, I'll just ask someone who knows about monitors or just do some research. There's a lot of articles out there. My next pick is kind of a 2-for-1, but I'm going to start first with a PC handheld. So the reasoning being is, I think, given the way, if you have someone in your life who wants to get into PC gaming, I think given the current situation with the PC market, obviously AI data centers are buying up all the RAM, and therefore the RAM is inflating in cost exponentially. And now that Micron has left the business, RAM chips are just going to go through the roof, and it's going to be very expensive to buy or build a PC in the future. I think the PC handheld is going to be the perfect middle ground between this. And I think there's many different handhelds out there, and I think it's going to come down to who the person is and where their library stands. Now, if they have friends on Steam, I think the Steam Deck is the obvious choice, and also make sure you get a dock with it as well. You can dock the Steam Deck, you can hook it up to a monitor, you can hook a mouse and keyboard into it. Your mobile PC station, boom, you're done. You know, the power of Steam Deck right there. But if you know that your friends are going to be playing Xbox titles as well, or if you know they're going to be playing certain multiplayer games that require the Windows secure boot like Battlefield 6. I'm going to lean on the other end and saying go for the ROG Xbox Ally X or the Xbox Ally, but the Xbox Ally X is the premium edition, along with the dock for the very similar reasons. I think we're in a great area where PC handhelds are becoming very powerful. They can handle modern gaming. And I think it's just going to be a great addition for someone because then they can take it on the go. You don't have to lug your desktop anywhere. You can just bring your handheld ready to go. The other thing is I haven't personally used these, but I've heard a lot of great things about it. And this is the 2-for-1 is the X-Real glasses. And the X-Real glasses is kind of what we were talking about before, but essentially they look like Ray-Bans and you throw them on and it comes with a USB-C and you hook it into whatever device you want and it creates this huge screen for you and it has speakers already in the glasses that only you can hear. So it kind of... It does the thing that you two were talking about with like the Meta Quest and with the Steam Frame, but you don't have this huge headset on. It is just a pair of glasses that you can hook into wherever. They're super nice, super well designed, super lightweight, and you can literally take it wherever. So why I'm saying this is a 2-for-1 is if you have a handheld PC and want to go on a plane, we all know looking down the entire time is going to strain the neck. Throw the glasses on. Just have the screen right in front of you. Boom. It's 120 hertz refresh rate. You can get the OLED glasses model or the non-OLED model. There's different variations for different price. These are a little bit more on the expensive side, but if you want to go all out, you really can with the X-Real glasses. I think I've heard many good things about this, and it works with any console of any choice. But I think it's going to work best with your handhelds.
I can't believe you don't remember, but I have a pair of those very similar in the basement from like 2005. I had bought them. They're just sunglasses that give you the big, because we used to take them on the plane all the time, and I know where they're at in the box downstairs. Can't believe you don't remember that we used to have those.
Dan, what do you think about all this? I know the market is always shifting, and I don't know if you've been keeping up with the PC stuff, but how do you feel about the handheld PC market and also these glasses? Because the glasses can hook up to your Switch as well. It's not just PC handhelds.
So the glasses are entirely new to me. They look rad. I'd love to test them myself. As far as the handheld PC market, I only have experience really with the Steam Deck, and I do agree that, handheld units have become incredibly powerful. Yeah. You know what I mean? The fact is that I can sit there and play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on my Steam Deck is kind of mind-blowing to me. And I love the ability that you can put it, you can dock it, hook it up to a monitor with a mouse and keyboard. I mean, it's everything in one little package, right? And it's crazy how much more powerful something like that is in comparison to even like, an Xbox One or a Series S or X. It's kind of wild. So,
yeah. We've definitely gone a long way. There's a couple things in chat that I forgot to call out. Back to the CRT. Shemplu says it's interesting to read up on what CRT TVs are. Recommend learning about it. It's like a mini nuclear reactor. Bombay says really wants these glasses. And Cherry Tomato Boy says I just got a Steam Deck used and it's the coolest gaming device that they've ever used. So yeah, I fully agree. The gaming handhelds are pretty sick.
And I agree. You don't have to go out and buy brand new. Like Cherry just said, he got a used one. It's great. But again, if you don't see the PC market just for what you were paying, this year for a moderate gaming PC, you're going to be paying 4 times that amount next year. So, go off of get something off the used market. It's as powerful that you'll need to get into the PC world. I agree with that 100%.
But between the two, I would still hover between the Steam Deck or the ROG Xbox Ally X, coming down the budget. With the Steam Deck, there is the lowest model is $400 and it's an LCD screen, but I would recommend getting that middle one. It's an OLED for $550 and it has the upgraded storage. You can also get a micro SD slot. But the Steam Deck, I would say if you know the person's going to be on Steam a lot or just has a Steam library and they want to upgrade their PC, but given the current conditions, fully recommend. But if they want to be a Windows user and have Windows on their device, the Ally X is the way to go. Dan, what is your final pick?
Final pick. I know this is Active Reload Gaming, and I know I am Planet Retro Video Games, but actually a Pokemon booster pack or an Elite Trainer box, because gaming and Pokemon cards kind of go hand in hand a lot of time, right? So a lot of kids and, people our age and a little bit older and obviously younger and kind of everything in between love the art of Pokemon. They like collecting, some like playing, some like grading. It just depends, different flavors for different people. But I think everybody can agree, you open some packs, you get a really cool card, and it may be worth a lot. It might not be, but it's still really cool to look at, cool to put into a binder, and gives you a really unique experience without breaking the bank like crazy. You know what I mean? So
I do want to ask you this one question, because with the Pokemon market, it's full of scalpers. You always have people rushing. Like, I just scrolled through the website and everything is sold out. So for parents who don't want to go and, buy through the scalping prices, how would you recommend them to go find a Pokemon booster pack for their children, or if for a friend even?
Yeah, so there isn't an easy answer to that question, but I'll try my best. So, I mean, you have a couple different options, right? My suggestion, number one, is first learn where the packs are. I'll give you a couple of hints, right? Dollar Generals, CVS's, Ace Hardware, Target, Walmart, GameStop. Find out, make friends with the managers. Talk to them, get to know them a little bit, and say, hey, when are you getting a shipment of these so I have a chance for myself or my kids or whoever for a gift? Because getting them, at retail is very difficult. Even me as a store, I can't buy them from a distributor because they want me to spend anywhere between $10,000 and $50,000 on sports cards to unlock the ability to buy Pokemon cards under retail to sell at retail. So I guess the short answer to your question is learn where they're at. Get there right. You're going to have to stand in line, because as much as you want them, so does every other adult and kid in the world. So you just kind of GameStop has actually been the easiest, to be completely honest, because what they're doing now is usually on Fridays and Saturdays, they'll have a white paper out front of their door. And basically it says, okay, I have a Mega Evolutions Elite Trainer box, and I have a Mega Evolutions booster bundle, and it shows how many they're getting in. So we'll say it's 10 and 10. So as long as you're one of the first 10 people in line, actually 20 people in line if it was 10 and 10, you would get one of those based on their release numbers, and they only allow you to get 2 items. So, that's my best suggestion. And I know it's not the, one-size-fits-all solution, but it does work.
And I do want to piggyback off of Pokemon real quick, because if we're going to do non-gaming stuff, I got to just shout out a couple things. While I'm not this player, Magic the Gathering is huge. See if the person is into Magic. Similar situation, though, as Pokemon. But me, I am a big D&D player. If someone's even remotely interested in tabletop RPGs, go get them a player's handbook, get them a Dungeon Master handbook, get them a set of dice. Just let them go and let their minds wander, because I do think D&D is so video game adjacent, because it's still a role-playing game at heart. Oh, let them do some D&D stuff. It's a great friend bonding activity or family bonding activity as well. So I want to stay in that realm. That's my quick shout out. Anything D&D related.
Yeah, nope. And I agree bringing up Pokemon, even though Pokemon's hot.
Yeah.
How can you can't ignore it. And like I had said to you once before or earlier, Dan, like also get the kid a slab. For those that don't know what a slab it is, it's a graded card. Like nothing is more prestigious. Like, oh my goodness, I got a 10 grade. It doesn't have to be one that's, $5,000. You can get a decent grade for a decent price depending on the card. Like that's another thing, just a kid that could put it up on his shelf and so forth, because we see it in video game collectors. So some video game collectors that love a graded game, well, it's no different than a Pokemon. Go get a graded Pokemon that's within the budget that you want to spend. And I think that's another great way to show a good gift of the Pokemon. But yeah, I think I go back one year for Christmas, Kobe. I think I bought you a D&D automatic dice roller.
Yeah, it's my big dice tower that I throw dice through. Yeah. And it's a goblin that lights up. It's great. Bombay says, thanks for not bringing up Warhammer 40K, and no one needs to get it, because that is one hobby I've not gotten into, because I know I'm going to sink a lot of money just wanting to paint miniatures. Dad, what is your final pick?
My final pick is the Astro 50X. The X. Here's the reason why. Now they're a little salty in price, but the reality is if you're you have PlayStation in your setup, you have Xbox in your setup, and you have a PC in your setup, it's literally one headset for it, and there's a button on the back to switch between them. Now you might say, well, geez, $300 a little salty for me for a headset, but look at it this way. I had a clutter of 3 different headsets that I might have been spending $150 a piece on, which is more than what this is, but I got rid of the clutter. It is literally, you put it on, I'm playing PlayStation because I just finally got to start up Ghost of Yote, playing that, and I had to jump to a PC game because somebody wanted me to play. All I did was hit the button on the back, and now it's all the audio through the PC. So and it comes with an HDMI pass through. That's what you're doing. You're hooking your Xbox, your PlayStation, and your PC HDMI on the back, and then it's one cord that comes out that goes to your monitor or your television, and that's what's great about it. Now, I did hook up my my Switch 2 to it as well. The problem is it only says Xbox, PlayStation, and PC on the little indicator. But if you took one of them out of the PC and put your Switch 2 in it, as long as you know that when you hit the button at PC, but I think a headset is a big difference, especially one if they have a whole bunch of consoles and there's a whole bunch of clutter. I know I'm just grabbing the one and I'm good with it.
I use SteelSeries. I think these have been my go-to. I've had nothing but a great experience, but at a certain point, it really is just tomato. What brand and like extra features do you want? Dan, do you have any headset recommendations?
Oh man, I don't even know what I'm using anymore. I have a Razer headset now, but I was a hardcore Turtle Beach guy for a long time.
Oh yeah. Razer's a good starting one. If someone doesn't have like a good pair of gaming headphones, I think Razers are a good entry point for people because they have some very affordable options, but you can get very expensive Razer headphones. But I think I started with the something Shark, I think it was called. But yeah.
But I think the difference, though, especially with you, Kobe, is yes, you're using those, but I know where you're sitting. That's just your PC.
Yeah.
And then if you wanted to go over to your entertainment center with your PlayStation, your Switch, and your Xbox, that's different. Where my setup here, my PC's right here, my Xbox is right here, my PlayStation's right here, my Switch is right here. I don't have to keep flopping between different headsets if I want to play, on a headset realm. I'm just hitting a button and switching it. I think that's the big thing. Like at your PC, I agree. I wouldn't pay the extra money where you're sitting currently, Kobe, for an Astro 50X because you don't need the X in that.
Bombay says good audio can change how you feel about a game. So.
Yeah, especially when you're playing my newfound love for horror games, it definitely makes a difference.
So, are you done with your final pick?
I am done.
All right. So my final pick is the Xbox Crocs. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's not. I'm kidding. It's not that. It's Expedition 33. I mean, I've already said a lot about Expedition 33 on this podcast, but it just won Game of the Year. It is the most awarded game in the Game Awards history. I know a lot of people are kind of being like, it's glazed, it's overhyped. I'm just going to encourage you, go play it. Go see what this game's about. It is on Game Pass if you don't want to spend $50, but I, as a gamer, always like to see whatever wins Game of the Year. I like to go and play it and understand why it won and form my own opinions on it. And this game is a masterclass. I absolutely adore Expedition 33 between the characters, the story, the theming of it, and the gameplay. Making me like turn-based combat was a feat that I never thought was going to happen, but it adds real-time reactivity to the game. And, I just think it's important for gamers to just kind of understand why these things are being awarded and just understanding where we're at in the industry. But yeah, it's the most awarded game of all time during the Game Awards. And I don't think you can go wrong giving someone Expedition 33, unless if they're like vehemently being like, I hate turn-based, I will never like it at all. Like, then yeah, maybe it's not for you. But I think the game is just a masterclass. And like I said, you can do the Game Pass way or buy them a physical copy. The physical copies have been going like crazy though, but there are new options out there. Bombay says number one pick should be pre-ordering the new Resident Evil for someone. Yeah, now that Leon got announced to be in the game again, which we all knew. Go get Resident Evil. But yeah, I think that's my last pick is Expedition. Go let someone experience the Game of the Year and let them.
Did you play Expedition, Dan, at all?
So I have about half hour into it. It's one of those. My backlog is nearly infinite at this point, but from what I played so far, amazing game, especially on a 4090 graphics card.
Yeah.
So I absolutely have to pick up and resume it. And actually, you just kind of gave me the reminder, Kobe, so I appreciate that.
And I know you, as a Final Fantasy person, you will adore Expedition 33. So,
heck yeah, looking forward to it.
I don't know if you've gotten into Final Fantasy X at all, but there's a lot of Final Fantasy X love in this game.
Oh yeah, okay, excellent. No, I haven't. I'm looking forward again to picking it on up because it's been a while. So
yeah.
But see, here's the thing, Kobe. You said that, I'm not a turn-based guy. I'm never going to play it. That was me.
Yeah.
I'm not a turn-based player, and like you, Dan, I'm probably about 2 hours into it, and I do want to go back to it. And but I never thought that I would like it, and it's not as turn-based as you think turn-based. Like they put it in that category, but I use turn-based very loosely, because if I can dodge and do things when it's the turned-based to do things, it's really not as turn-based. And I enjoyed this. I enjoyed it a lot, and I do want to go back. But I'll give a shout out to your backlog. Like, I don't think my backlog I've been gaming since the 70s. I don't think my backlog has ever been this big. And I think it's a testament to the industry. And I'm telling you, my backlog, and I'm not saying it because it's on here, I say it every week, my backlog just doesn't include new games. Like, my old games that I've been building my retro with, I'm like, I never got this one as a kid, or I bought a console that I've never played before. And I'm just building this weird backlog of even retro. So when I take a look at what you consider backlog, like, it is just so massive. And that's just a testament to where the industry is at right now.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I don't see it easing up anytime soon, in my opinion.
No, next year is going to be even worse than this year. So,
well, especially when you have GTA that's going to shut down an entire quarter of playing, when everybody's going to be playing that. That's
we might close down Planet Retro Video Games for GTA.
I think everyone's going to be taking off work for GTA. So.
I will take off work, because we said in other podcasts, and ever since Kobe's a kid, like, when Gears of War came out, I took him out of school. Like, he had the day off. We were playing that all day. Call of Duty would drop. I took him out of school. And Grand Theft Auto would drop. I took him out of school. Like, we would take sick days, both of us, and play this. And I think I'm definitely going to take a sick day on GTA and E-Day. Let me plug E-Day's coming out this year. I'm going to take 2 sick days set aside for that. But, again, you could call me a bad father taking him out of school to play video games, but look where he's at now. So I guess I did something right. He's working for it.
He's doing all right, I think. I think you're both doing all right.
But that's 15 options. Wait, probably says Black Ops 7 release. Kobe had to work a double because how bad that one turned out. We don't talk about it. Either ways, and then Shemplu says you're a terrible dad.
Yep, exactly.
But that's 15 picks total for a gift giving guide. Hopefully we were able to help influence you or just give you some ideas of some sort. We went from inexpensive to really expensive. So you do have a wide range of things for different kinds of people. Dan, thank you so much for joining today's podcast and kind of giving your opinions on it and where to go. I really appreciate it, especially from the point of view of a store owner, because you get to see what is the current hotness in the market. You're at the forefront of it. So thank you for joining and giving ideas. And, I do want to have you plug your socials once more. I'll throw up the slate. So yeah, feel free, start plugging away.
Cool. Well, again, thank you for having me. Here are the socials. You can find our store, Planet Retro Video Games, on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and whatnot at Planet Retro Video Games. You can come into the store to purchase. We are actually 15% off until the end of Christmas. Or if you want to see us on Whatnot because you're not local, at Planet Retro Video Games, we're Monday to Friday from 11 a.m. Eastern to approximately 2 or 3 p.m. And we're 10% off also until Christmas. So get them deals while you can, guys.
Dog Waterbud says, Dan's the man, and said, nice meeting y'all. Nice meeting you too, man. Thank you for joining the podcast today. Dad, do you have anything else to say? If not, we're going to get out of here and out of everyone's hair.
The only thing I have to say is if you're watching on YouTube or Twitch, please subscribe. It helps us out. We're trying to grow this community more and more.
Yep. Well, that's it. That's another one in the books. Next week will be our final one for the year. So we shall see you all then. And then if you guys don't tune in at that time, have a happy holiday. Dan, have a happy holiday to you as well. Hopefully the store keeps you busy, and hopefully the holiday rush ends soon and you can have a nice warranted break.
Much needed. Happy holidays, guys. Again, appreciate you having me today.
Alrighty. And we will see you all next time. Peace all.